There you go. You hear my front door slamming. I am outside. Welcome to this together run. A little bit late. I'll explain why in just a second, but first I want you to ground yourself with some element of nature. Just to remind yourself you are on this planet, no matter how busy things are right now, no matter the stress level, no matter what dogs are yapping. You are here. You are grounded. You are part of this earth. Ready to begin? In 3, 2, and 1. Here we go. Yes, so as I'm recording this, it is Monday. Usually have the Together Run out for you on Monday, but Bailey was throwing up yesterday and the day before, and she, typically with kids, wanted mummy, so I was with her continuously until she was better, and so I just didn't go for a run. And I'm in a place in my life where, even though I'd just taken a day off, it's okay to take another one, and so I did, and I rested, and so far so good. Hopefully that means I've dodged it. Washed my hands about, honestly, probably 50 times yesterday, because I have a very fresh memory of in this summer when we, all 4 of us, went down with Bailey's sick stomach bug, and it was nasty. So we're all a bit fragile about that, and I really didn't want to get it again. So that was that. I want us to, next, we're going to go into our body scan that we do every time, which is where we're going to work our way down from the top of our head to the tips of our toes. I will tell you, I will call out areas as we go through them, and we're just going to check in and see how we're feeling within our bodies. Those of you who are joining us for your first Together Run, I want to welcome you for being here. This is something probably totally different to everything you know or have known in your podcasts or whatever else you listen to. But I hope you'll enjoy the meditative pieces of this today. And then we will get into a conversational part and just kind of catch up. I'll update you as it's been a few weeks. And is this our last Together Run of 2023? I think it is. Unless you're a Patreon member, you will get extra one next week. But otherwise, we'll be joining back for 2023. Got some exciting stuff in the works that I'll hopefully be updating you on when we do come back for the next one. And it should be fun. Right, so let's go on and get on to that body scan. Working your way from the top of your head, going down into your eyes, checking in with those eyes, making sure they're not scrunched or tight, holding tension. Continuing down into your nose, around the back of your head, checking in there as you come back forward into your mouth. Checking you're not grinding or gritting, clenching with your jaw, nice and relaxed. As you work your way down into your neck and around the back of your neck, going into the back of your shoulders and into your arms, through the upper arm, around the elbow, going into the forearm, lower arm, into your wrist and hand, checking in with your fingers, making sure you're not holding tension anywhere in your hand as you continue on down through your chest, into your stomach, around the back to your lower back, as you continue into your hips hips and pelvis, whatever feels right, flowing through that area as you go down into your quads, around the back to your hamstrings, as you continue on down to the back of your knees, coming round to the front of your knees, into your calf and shin, as you check in with your inner ankle and your outer ankle, checking in with the heel and the arch of your foot, the top of your foot, down to the ball of your foot, and finally into your toes. How's everything feeling? For me, I got a little ache just in my heel where it's just landing point. Usually that goes away. Hopefully it will continue today. In just a minute, we're going to go ahead and do our senses check-in, checking in with our 5 primary senses, see how we're feeling, just taking in our surroundings. It's another meditative piece we like to do on these runs. Before we do that, just go ahead and take as deep as you can at your own pace. 3 deep breaths. And they're not going to be very deep because of the fact that you're running. Just resetting ourselves. What do you smell? Me, I can't really smell anything. Like my nose is too cold. Yep, I smell fresh. What do you taste? I taste a little bit of the bread I ate just half an hour ago from a local bakery. Tastes good. Tastes nutty. Next, we're going to go ahead and check in with our sense of hearing, audio, which is where you can either take out your headphones or you can keep them in there and listen to my surroundings. The choice is yours. Let's go ahead and spend 30 to 45 seconds just checking in. What do you hear? Few more seconds. What do you hear? Okay. What do I hear? I hear lawnmowers or leaf blowers, I can't really tell. You can hear heating of houses churning away. Hear my footsteps, my breathing, and the gravelly stones underneath my feet. Next, We're going to move on to our sense of touch. So what I'm going to have you do is just be in your body, following your awareness wherever it goes, whether it jumps from place to place, whether it's resting in one particular area that you feel discomfort in, or something else, some combination. Let's go ahead and be in your body. Check in now. If you've wandered off, gently bring your awareness back into your body. Just being with the motion of running. What do you feel? A few more seconds. Okay. What did you feel? Is your attention scattered and jumping from place to place? Or are you mostly focused on one area? For me, I felt the motion of moving through space. I feel like I'm quite aware of this at the moment. Just the motion of running, like feeling my body, my arms moving back and forth, my legs lifting and contracting, and my fingers, I'm feeling them as well. And finally, our last sense that we're going to focus on right now is our vision. I want you to take the time now to just check in. What is it you see? You can let your eyes go where their attention is. But one thing I want to ask of you, as always, is just take one thing you find yourself drawn towards and pay attention to the detail of it. Just taking it in as if you're taking a mental picture of whatever that is. Let's go ahead and do that now. Few more seconds. What do you see? Okay. Thank you for checking in with your five senses. What do I see? I see fake tree bits and ribbon around a pole wrapped very delicately. I see nests, multiple nests in trees. Have now mostly lost their leaves. But I did notice for quite a while that they seem to be later this year with losing a lot of their leaves. I'm going by one right now that has most of its leaves. So, yeah. Okay. The next piece is our mental health check-in. So I'm going to ask you a question, and those of you who have done these before know what that question is going to be. You know what's coming. But if you haven't done this together and before, I'm going to ask you a question, and I just want you to let your thoughts come through. You aren't going to be able to tell me, can't hear you officially, but what would you tell me in answer to this question? Even if you know in reality you would never feel comfortable sharing if we were in person, even just talking to yourself, admitting it to yourself is a big, powerful step. So, how are you? Really? Let's go ahead and answer that now. You've wandered off, gently bring yourself back. How are you, really? Final few seconds before we round it out. Okay. Thank you for checking in with yourself. I know that can feel awkward, but I also think it's so good for us. And from what I get, that's one of the pieces you like the most about these runs, is it gives you that space to be quiet and be with your thoughts. Because I don't know about you, but for me, I'm not very good at taking that in my daily life. I try to, but very quickly something else floods in and I go on and do that anyway. Feels like that's more important in every moment, unfortunately, than giving that silence and quiet. So these spaces within this run are to do that for you. Give you some quiet space. Kind of forced, but also just to give you practice. You're doing it every week. And me too. Okay. How am I, really? Whew. Well, there's quite a lot to that this time, as always, I suppose. The first thing that comes to mind is optimistic for 2023. I have had a lot of really exciting and promising phone calls and collaborations and connections over the last few weeks, and more I feel like I'm solidifying my future direction. It's coming into focus, and there is a place for me, which feels good. I also have a lot of anger inside right now. As you know, if you do these often, I do talk about the fact that we rarely have just one emotion going on, unless it's so overpowering we can't see beyond, but most of the time we have multiple. And yeah, I do have a lot of anger at the moment. One of the most important people in my life tripped last week. I'm going to wait till we get around this corner, just in case you can't hear through that noise. Okay. One of the people I love most in this world tripped over some negligence from our local gas company. So you can imagine how that went down with me internally. Our local gas company, who around this time this happened, sent an email saying, basically, hooray, we've been approved for a new pipeline. So you can imagine how that made me feel. That's keeping fossil fuels in circulation for longer. But yeah, they screwed up something. Someone I love tripped and has a very, very bloody but now scabbed and bruised face. And it is very hard for me to look at and not feel rage, not want to chase them down, especially as they have admitted in a few different ways that they messed up. And so I'm trying to practice forgiveness. This person doesn't want me to pursue it. But, you know, it's hard to put those feelings aside and just do respect their wishes when it's a company that I already struggle to have empathy for. And especially as the claims specialist on the phone was incredibly rude to me and was talking to me in a way that was patronizing and saying they should have known better, but then kind of saying off the record that it was their fault. And so I'm trying to process this. Also, I don't want to be using my energy on this situation, but I do fear for other people, as it was clear that my comments, my requests, my thoughts, which I did in a very fair and understandable and I don't want to say gentle, because I maybe wouldn't say I was gentle, but intentional way. And changes are not being made, so it could happen again. And I don't want that to happen to someone else. But I also know I'm putting energy into the world in a positive way. And this is not my battle to fight. So yeah, there's a lot of that in me right now, kind of wrestling with forgiveness, moving on, and having always been a person who does get stuck on things until I either talk through them or something is done about it. So yeah, that's a challenge. And then I feel gratitude and love that my family is here right now, that I have a healthy family, that this fall wasn't worse. And so I'm trying to lean on that as well. I have a lot of amazing people in my life who I'm extremely grateful for, including many of you. And yeah, so big highs, big lows, trying to reflect on the quiet and simple things as much as I can, but I'm still a human who saw someone they love in a lot of pain. So yeah, there we go. All right. So, moving on to the next piece. I've talked for long enough for now. If this is your first time joining me for a Together Run, next I'm going to ask you, if your first time, tell me a little bit about you. If we were running next to each other right now, what would you tell me about yourself, about your running journey, whatever it would be you would want to share? If you are an experienced Together runner, or have done it at least once, I'd love to hear what updates you have. Whether we ran 6 months ago, we ran last week, or whenever it was. Tell me a little bit about you. How are things going? So let's just go ahead and do that now. You've wandered off, gently bring yourself back. What updates do you have? What do you want to share? Final few seconds. Okay. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you doing this. It makes the world a better place every time we do slow down to look internally. Helps us as humans, even if it can be painful or uncomfortable for a lot of the time. It's good for us. So I will answer the question myself in a few minutes, but we are going to, at the 30-minute mark, do a few strides. And I know myself will get into the weeds and miss the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to talk about something else till then. And then I'll update with you. 30-minute crew, you're welcome to hang out after that point, after we do 2 strides. And say. So what else do I have to say? Oh, I do want to tell you, so you may have seen the video of me dancing in my pajamas, dancing while vacuuming, which is very hard, by the way. May I side note that? If you try and dance to music while you're vacuuming, and maybe you disagree, maybe I'm just not coordinated enough, but it feels like awkward because you have your rhythm in vacuuming, or at least I do. You kind of have the same rhythm that you do, and then the song's beat, unless I guess in some ways it might match, but the songs I was listening to, the rhythm doesn't match, and it feels really weird to try and break that rhythm. I really was having a hard time matching rhythm to my vacuuming, so try it. Go ahead and put, if you want to use my exact experiment, it was Harry Styles As It Was. Try vacuuming to that, or hoovering as we say in the UK, and see if it feels awkward to you. But anyway, I was dancing in my pajamas, vacuuming with my Ola Dance headphones, and I've been waiting to tell you about this. I should come to a walk, 30-minute crew. I'll tell you more in a second. I've been waiting to talk about this because you know me, I like to test things out first, make sure I like them. But now I've been so impressed with them because it's open ear, so you can hear outside noises. So if you're doing this with me now, you'd be able to hear me really clearly. But you could also hear squirrels rustling in the leaves or cars approaching or whatever else. And the sound is really good. With some of the headphones I've had in the past with a bone conduction or bone vibration, it just felt like my brain was rattling. And especially coming to a walk, like in a run, it just felt so uncomfortable. It just didn't feel right. And so I've really been enjoying these. So I just wanted to mention that. I really like them a lot. I'll put a link in the show notes if you want to go check them out. If you're missing a holiday gift and someone you know likes to run to music or do chores to music, they have a 16-hour battery life. But you can get 20% off with the link. So go check that out. All right. So, still went over. What we're going to do is all of us are going to do 2 by 10 to 15 seconds. I'll tell you when to start, tell you when to stop, at about 80% of your max speed. So if you're walking, if you're in a 30-minute group, I'll tell you what, we're going to all go together. Just going to run at what you think is 80%. I'll tell you when to stop. We'll take a little break. And then you can be on your way if you want to. All right, you ready? 3, 2, and 1. Off we go. Okay, come to a jog or a walk if you're in the 30-minute group. We'll give you another 30 to 45 seconds, and then we'll go again. And then if everyone wants to hang around, you're welcome to. If you're in a 30 group and you want to turn off, you're welcome to do that too. The only thing I ask is, if you can support on Patreon, you're amazing. Thank you to those of you who do. If you can leave a review on iTunes and you haven't already, that is a massive help. And if you can share it, these are special. And I really love that we get this opportunity to do this together. And so when you share it out on your social media, you're helping other people to find it too. And many of you come from other people sharing it. So thank you to those of you who have. Right, ready to do another one? 3, 2, and 1. All right, and come to a stop. Yes, I said stop. I am stopping my watch. I expect you to do the same. Go ahead and take a photo of yourself. I really don't care what you look like. I don't care how exciting your background is. I have leaves, leaf truck in my background. Go ahead and take a picture. Send it to me. Share it with your post about this run. I know I haven't made you do this in a while, but I'd really, really love to see you this time of year. Oh, I'm going to walk away from that. I'd really love to see it this time of year. That can be your gift to me, is taking a picture of yourself so I can see who I'm running with. Don't care how messy you look or whatever other complaints, self-hatred we all direct towards ourselves. I just want to be able to envision running with you. So go ahead and take a picture now. I mean it. Go on, do it. If you haven't stopped running, you can stop now. Go on. Stop, take a picture. We're going to start again. Unless you're in the 30-minute group, you can go if you want. You taken one? If you didn't, do it now. Go on. Right, ready? We're going to start again. 3, 2, and 1. We're going at a normal pace now. 30-minute group. Thank you so much for joining. I can't wait to see your picture. And the rest of us, we're going to keep going. I'll give you some updates of what I have to share, which I haven't thought through, as always. So let's see what comes to mind. All right, updates. Well, I said my parents are here. It's been really nice, other than the incident and Bailey being sick. So neither of those were great. But I'm here. Just going to pick up this newspaper. Speaking of newspapers, that's an update. As you read this, that paper I just picked up. I actually I'm having an article published on the UN website, and it's called "Whose Trash Is It Anyway?" And it's all about the conversation around you look at a piece of trash in the road, and whose responsibility is it? Is it ours for dropping it? If it's a teenager who dropped it intentionally, was it the parents' fault for not teaching them? Is it the man who picks up the trash and recycling if it blew out of his truck, his or her truck? Is it the person who made the trash, like the manufacturer of the product, Gatorade or whatever? Is it the person who makes the plastic? Whose responsibility is it? What if it lands on your property? Is that yours? So really proud of it. Kind of centers around the newspapers, because if you have done many of these, you know that these papers in St. Louis are everywhere. I'm just about to come to another one in the street. And how long was that? Like 30 seconds. There's another one. I'm just going to pick it up and throw it onto the house. But again, if they didn't ask for that paper, is that their fault? If it's a paper that's just delivered every week, if they didn't ask for it, they didn't want it, do they have to pick it up? So yeah, that's an update. And you can check the show notes. It's being published this week, but I don't know when we're going to get this out. So if it's not there today, maybe by the end of the week. And what else? Updates. Yeah, I've been starting to wind down while also ramping up ideas for next year, plans for next year. I felt like things were a little scattered this 2022, and so trying to make things a bit more coherent and a bit more organised in my planning. Here's another paper. Keep this one. So yeah, I've got like some events I'm working, some new brands coming on the scene who are doing amazing things to create. I mean, I have to say, in terms of sustainability, not necessarily, there's a few I'm working with, but just in general, the ideas and the solutions people are coming up with right now is absolutely beautiful and unbelievable and fascinating and genius. There's so many things I'm coming across at the moment. I'm just like, wow. Like, there's this omega-3 supplement, or omega supplement, and it's made of algae. I mean, that's genius, and they are very sustainable in all their practices of creating the product, of shipping the product. They print everything on algae-based ink. They stick to black and white because it's less carbon intensive. It's just amazing, some of the solutions really, I mean, I've mentioned it before, but that show Down to Earth with Zac Efron and Darren O'Leen, who has been on the podcast, so you can go listen to that. It really gave me so much hope. So I really feel good and optimistic about things in general, that momentum is coming. And it's given me a lot of hope, especially with the book coming out, Becoming a Sustainable Runner. Oh, that's a weird thing, will come out this year, with it being next year in 2023. Really excited about that, and yeah, I feel like the momentum is building, so I can't wait. What else? Oh, randomly, we did watch the movie Spirited, for those of you who have HBO. Apple TV. Oh, so good. Really good. Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell and... is it Ferrell or Farrell? Will Ferrell. Yeah. And Octavia Spencer. Really, really well done. And I really enjoyed the message, and yeah, it was really fun. So I recommend that. What else for updates? I feel like things have been winding down. Just been taking it a bit slower. I did run a trail race about a week ago around the what's it called? Perry Market Endurance Trail Run. It was 7.5 miles, and it was very, very hilly, like 1,800 feet of elevation in 7.5 miles, which is a lot for around here. And it was a challenge, but I really enjoyed it, and I won. Didn't get a course record this time. I was about 5 minutes off that. So when I say I am losing fitness, I am, and that's okay. I don't care. I really don't mind. But I still know, I still won, and I am always going to maintain a level of fast that I accept and understand. But it was fun. I put bourbon in my coffee afterwards to warm me up. So really enjoying this life of trying new things. And there's something incredibly exciting that is on the table right now, but we're literally 70 steps, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean, away from this being a give and a go. So I'm not going to say any more right now, but let's just say it's in that area of trying new things. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a body scan right now. Do an extra one today, early on. So I want you to do this at your own time, your own pace. Just going to check in with your body, see how it's feeling at this point, having given half an hour since we last checked in. I just want you to be in your body, ground yourself, and yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Few more seconds. Okay, how's your body feeling now compared to at the beginning? Those of you in the 45-minute group, you have about 2 minutes before you can come to a walk. We'll do a few strides and we'll let you head out from there. I don't know about if you can tell, but I feel a little more winded than I normally do. Like this is breathing wise harder than it usually is. There's a house here, a small house, which I suspect is going to be knocked down to make a bigger house that has orange fencing around it, and I can see probably 12 big trees in it. So let's hope I'm wrong. Small house in amongst giant houses that has an orange fence around it. I may be crying on a run if I come across that when it's just been done. On that note, it's quite a good thing to say that I know a lot of the time when people start to talk to me, actually everyone now talks to me about some measure of sustainability, which I love because people obviously know that's one of my passion areas. And people will say to me things like, oh, I don't want to send Christmas cards because of the carbon footprint, because it's cutting down trees. And well, yes, I agree. I don't send Christmas cards. That's paper I'd rather not use. I also don't want us to kind of get analysis paralysis and not be unable to do anything because we're too scared. And so what I mean by that is, like, if it's a case of you getting the Christmas cards or you backing off your purchases at Amazon, like getting toys or getting, little things that, if you're honest with yourself, you don't really need, like, let's say little knick-knack things for your kids to play with on a drive. Like, say they have something new, you're going on a drive, you're going to go to Target and buy them stuff from the $1 section. I would much rather you not buy all that stuff and give your kids, either things they already have that you've thought ahead and hidden for a while, or you have asked a friend if you can borrow some things of theirs, or just, have your kids get used to not having new things, then you're not getting Christmas cards. And, I get a lot of comments from people like, oh, we shouldn't do that because it uses paper. But it's like such a minor thing compared to the overall come to a walk 45-minute group. We'll give you 30 seconds and then we'll do our stride, okay? So, don't get caught up in the, high and mighty. I am not high and mighty, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. Even though I'll probably do, to some of you, come across that way at times. Let's do a stride first and I'll continue, okay? 3, 2, and 1. And come to a jog or a walk if you're in the 45 group. We'll take another 30 seconds, we'll go again, and then I'll continue. I'm going to take this moment to say, you can check out Isla Dance if you want to, but also Patreon. If you want to support me, it doesn't have to be about the bonus stuff. That's one massive way you can help me if you appreciate what I do, is by supporting on Patreon. You can also leave a review on iTunes if you haven't already, or share this. All 3 of those things I'm so grateful for. Thank you. All right, ready? 3, 2, and 1. Go. Okay, come to a jog or a walk. 45-minute crew. If you did not take your picture yet, go ahead and do that now. I repeat, I'm not looking for you looking like perfection. I just want to see who I'm running with. And that ties into what I was saying. The other day, I hosted a low or zero waste, depending on what way you look at it, event for friends, 30 people, 13 kids, 13 of which were kids. I had been to one of these events in LA, which is LA, so, could you do it? In St. Louis in Missouri? That's what I wanted to find out. So had the friends come over, asked them to bring their own knives, forks, silverware, plates, everything. And they did. And we had one person who brought some baked goods in the plastic container, but everyone else brought reusable everything. Brought reusable everything, and my trash can had one napkin in it. After the end of the night, that was it. And our food waste didn't really have much in it either, because people took what they could and wanted, and didn't overtake just for the sake of it, because they know that food waste is another way that we add a lot of emissions to our planet. It's a massive contributor, like number 4 on the list of most, like where the most emissions come from. Anyway, so it was only when I was tidying up that night that I realised we had made a guacamole, or I'd made a guacamole. I'd cut up fruits and vegetables, or cut up vegetables for a fruit tray. I'd got some cans of drink, which cans are easily recyclable. The aluminum can be made back into cans over and over and over and over and over again. So that is great. But I realised when I was tidying up that I had put out 3 dips in plastic containers. I'd got hummus, I'd got a spinach dip, and I'd got a buffalo cauliflower. And I didn't even realise until I was taking away that I was the one that contributed the most plastic. I mean, at the time, I wasn't really thinking. It's such an automatic thing, our world is surrounded, everything is in it, whether we like it or not. You can't avoid plastic. But, so I had been thinking when I picked those up, like, oh, those are bulk things, people can eat, there's 30 servings in there, people can eat these, we'll eat them afterwards, they didn't end up in the trash. But I didn't think about it until afterwards that those are unlikely to be recycled. Yes, they have the logo. Yes, they go in the recycling. Yes, we wash them out. But if I'm honest with myself, that plastic is one that's probably not going to be recycled. So it probably will go in a landfill. And so I say that to say that everyone makes mistakes, and even people like me who are very passionate about it get sucked in and buy things only to later be like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have got that, or I could have done this instead. I could have made my own hummus. I mean, I don't know if I could actually, because that day was so packed. I made the guacamole at 15 minutes before everyone arrived. I literally went upstairs, changed my shirt, and then the first people came. But, could have thought ahead. And that's where you can really get yourself into trouble, I could be fixated on this. Like, how stupid am I to have not thought about that? And everyone's going to think I'm a hypocrite. or, for days been like, why did you do that? But you have to let it go. And I've learned this the hard way. I mentioned Darren O'Lean earlier, and he was the one that taught me this, because I had said to him, like, what did he do when he was traveling? He's a vegan, and a very strict one. What does he do when he's traveling? And he said, I do the best I can. He fasts if he has to, which I don't necessarily agree with, but especially as a woman, I don't think that's safe or healthy. But, he then said, sometimes I have to take the plastic or buy the fruit juice in the plastic container. And so he gave me that permission and that freedom to not be perfect at this. And he's got a TV show about environmentalism, and he's built his career on conservation and a relationship to the planet. A very successful career. New York Times bestseller. And so I say this to remind you that if you keep trying to be perfect, you're never going to get anywhere. But if you just try and make the best decision you can for each moment you get presented with a option or a choice, that's all you can do. So yeah, maybe that means sometimes you're, a mile down the road and you realise you've forgotten your reusable grocery bags and you think, oh, I'm not driving back to go get them, but I guess I'll just put it in the cart, or I guess I'll use my handbag to put it in because there's only a few things, or I guess I'll be that awkward person who's carrying it all in my arms. And maybe another time it means you're pulling out of your driveway and you realise, and even though you already have to unlock your house, get out in the cold, pull into the driveway, you go back and do that. And that's all we can do. Just these little steps, as much as we can take them, is how change happens. And the biggest part of this, as I mention always, is talking about it. Telling people why you're doing what you're doing. Making it clear. I've mentioned for birthdays now, for kids that Bailey gets invited to their birthdays, I ask the parent to ask the child who I can donate to on their behalf. That's a way of not adding excess gifts. Also a way of not adding a ton of extra stuff I have to do to my plate by having to go to the store to find something or order it on Amazon. But donating, that makes everyone feel good, and you're probably taking pressure off that person because now they don't feel pressure to like what you give them. So same with your friends. What do you know that they like that you could donate on their behalf? It's just little things. So, all right, let's go ahead and do a stride. You ready? 3, 2, and 1. All right, and come to a jog. You can keep jogging in between. You can run for an hour. Do another one. It's an edible arrangement truck following me. Part of me hopes he's coming to me. But again, it's another thing that's kind of wasteful. Oh, he's gone. All right. 3, 2, and 1. All right, come to a jog. It may have been a bit short, but as I said, I'm feeling tired. And on that note, I think I'm going to come to a stop a little bit short. So you can either keep running around while I'm doing my nature check-in and do your own, or practice stopping early and come for a walk with me. You ready? Oh, I'm stopping at 0.96. Right now, I'm not going to make it to a 0. Right, 3, 2, 1, 0.97. There you go, practice that. 0.97, 58.5. I want you to find some element of nature to connect to. Just remind yourself you're part of this world, connected with Mother Earth. And ground yourself. Be sure to share, to support on Patreon, or to review. Thank you so much. I'll see you in 2023. Unless you're a Patreon member, I'll see you next week. Thanks, friends.